Warning: the following episode contains spoilers. And be sure to follow our podcast on these available platforms.
What's up, guys? Welcome to the Knockturnal Movie Club. I am joined by my esteemed co-hosts, Jay King and Ethan Singh. And we have a new cast member, Josh. Josh Gutman, welcome to the club.
Hey, good to be here. Good to be here.
Yes. Jake, running movie news, and there's a lot going on as always.
Yes, and for all of you Marvel fans who are listening to us, the news has just broken that John Watts has exited as director of Fantastic Four.
Get out. Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
That is huge news. I did not see that. Is that that's recent, right?
Yeah. This was I believe 2 days ago.
Okay.
The question is whether or not it's good news or bad news.
Well, yeah. I mean, we've been talking about this for a little while. We have differing opinions on John Watts. I know, OJ, he's not your favorite director in the MCU.
I'm very low-key happy.
Well, according to this article, it says nothing sinister here. Watts just needs a break from the superhero realm after completing the Spidey trilogy.
Respect that, honestly. I mean, he did come from an interesting low-budget background with Cop Car and Clown.
Yep.
So it maybe he wants to maybe use some of the money and clout he got from doing Spider-Man to maybe get back into that realm. And plus,
I honestly think that's the case too. Well, not even just low budget, but more artistic endeavors. Because after doing 3 blockbusters that all did amazing, and now a $1 billion movie, offers are got to be pouring in to do whatever the hell he wants to do, I would say.
Mm-hmm. And plus, it'd be cool for Fantastic Four to just have its own style. I mean, that's one of the things I'm hoping Marvel does more of, where they let directors have a bit more stylistic input, like they've been doing with James Gunn and Taika Waititi.
So, I mean, but that gets tricky though when sometimes, I mean, we see it in that problem. DC runs into that problem all the time when you let everyone do their own stylistic style, then it becomes like an inconsistent verse at times. So I agree. I think we should let directors have more style, more of their flair in it. But at the same time, there's still a Marvel formula that's tried, true, and tested that I think that we need to stick to.
Exactly. So when you're doing a school project, right, and everyone has to help write a report, if you have 4 different writers, it's going to be 4 different reports stitched together. It won't make any sense.
Yeah. Well, in terms of formulas that are tried and true, other news is that Justin Lin has exited Fast and Furious 10.
I know. I saw this. You said don't look it up. I looked it up because I'm terrible. I am so shocked by that because I interviewed the cast of the Fast and Furious movie, the whole franchise, for the last one, Fast 9. And everybody was like, oh, I'm so excited Justin Lin is back. He's going to do it the last couple of movies. It's nice to have someone who knows the franchise to come back. He is this family. And then hearing he got dropped, I'm like, what? What? The whole press crew was just like, we're so happy he's back, and now he's not.
They didn't disagree with they disagreed with his politics at Easter dinner. Just like families do.
Okay.
I think they're gonna end up calling F. Gary Gray. I think, honestly.
Really? Because Fast 8 I did not like.
I know, but
I know there's another title for it, but for the sake of just keeping count, it's Fast 8.
Logic, yeah, dude. I mean, if you're not gonna do F. Gary Gray, who are you gonna do? They kind of repeating directors a lot.
Yeah, I don't see them calling somebody new. At this point, need someone who's more familiar with the crew and knows the cast. But what's interesting part about this Fast 10 is it has a lot of great new players. So you have Jason Momoa, you have Brie Larson, you got so there's some new players in the mix, which is exciting. So we'll see.
Yeah. So now let's say, disregarding the news of who they might get, who would you choose for both Fantastic Four and for Fast and Furious 10?
Ooh, good question.
That's a really good question.
For Fantastic Four, I'm going with Greta Gerwig.
By the way, how about the first? Oh, that was another piece of movie news. We got a first look at Barbie.
I know, that's why I said that. I'm like, what's Marvel's style these days? They love going for hot indie directors. And I'm like, well, who's a great one? Greta Gerwig is amazing. She's doing the Barbie movie of all things, which genuinely, if she's doing it, it's probably actually going to be a great movie. Would love to see her do an MCU movie. I don't know if that's the one she should do, but if I had to pick one person, she's just top of mind.
For Fast, Who did Aquaman? Was that
James Wan.
I would do James Wan for Fast 10.
Ooh, that's a great pick.
Yeah, because he did Furious 7, and that was like
I was just
probably
gonna
the
say,
best of the
did he do
franchise.
one before? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So I would call James Wan for Fast 10, and for Fantastic Four. Oh, okay. I don't think this is a curveball. Del Toro.
Guillermo del Toro for Fantastic Four.
Interesting choice.
That is gonna be. We were just talking about movies with like you can't have too much individualistic.
Or Robert Rodriguez.
Oh, let's just hope the green screen works better with that. Because for all we know, he'll be doing all the green screen work in his backyard.
Oh, you know what? I wouldn't even be mad at Favreau coming back.
Oh, I would take Favreau. I would take Favreau over anybody you listed just now.
Yeah.
I love Guillermo del Toro, no offense, but I feel like he would I don't know. I feel like he would just add too much to it and it wouldn't feel like a Marvel movie.
No, yeah, he's more suited for like a Ghost Rider movie, or maybe like he would have did really good with Moon Knight. But no, I think Favreau would coming back and doing this would be kind of cool.
I would love that. That's a great pick.
Yeah.
For Fast, I would get David Leitch. He, Deadpool, Atomic Blonde, and he did Hobbs and Shaw, so it would still kind of technically be in the Fast and Furious family. But I think he'd be able to add, like, he understands action in a way that would make that probably Fast 10 have the more unique and interesting action scenes, honestly, of any of the films. I mean, I do enjoy the Fast and Furious franchise, but I think he'd be able to nail the choreography. And what we were talking before about how the Marvel films are trying to get, like, they'll get indie directors that are kind of hot, but on the cusp of getting mainstream. For Fantastic Four, I would get James Gray. He did Velocity of Z and Ad Astra. I always
Ad
felt
Astra, I love.
Ad Astra. Like Fantastic Four, I always felt should kind of have like a Robinson Crusoe, Swiss Family Robinson's adventure film style. And I mean, this is something I guess I disagree with OJ and some of you guys about. Like, I do like this direction that Marvel seems to be going into, the challenge DC, about giving these directors more identity and creative freedom, because it gives them a unique look in a way that I never found it jarring with the MCU. I just think that it gives the film their own distinct identity, so it keeps them all from, running together. And I think James Gray can capture that old school adventure style very, very well. That would work for a Fantastic Four film, specifically based on his work for Velocity of Z.
I agree. I think the only problem, like, and we saw it with like Chloe Zhao and the way, she was the wrong choice for Eternals, and they let her do her style, and it just did not work well within the MCU format. So I think you just have to be really specific about who you pick. Like, I think Ryan Coogler's style was very distinct about Black Panther, but he still was like the right choice within the MCU format.
Yeah. Same
I don't think Ryan Coogler was the only success story out of that whole direction. I'm trying to think who else.
Any directors that popped off. Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, oh, I'm going to do my own thing. I'm going to go a little bit off script, because he kind of was the first to do that. And now everybody after their movie's just been a little meh.
But what has Ryan directed after Black Panther?
Creed.
He's produced a lot of cool stuff.
Well, no, I'm talking about Ryan. No, he's great. Ryan Coogler's an amazing director. I'm talking about like the other Marvel directors who fall in his footsteps of like Kate Shortland, who did Black Widow, another indie director, did a Marvel movie. It's fine. It's good. It's not great by any measure.
Yeah. I think Creed came before Black Panther.
Creed 2?
Creed did, yeah.
Yeah. Did he direct anything after Black Panther yet, Ryan Coogler? Anything for TV?
Not that I know. I know he produced Judas and the Black Messiah.
That was such a great movie.
Yeah, he produced that. And Shaka King, who's an incredible director, directed that. But I think Shaka King is now going to be directing, I believe, Ironheart.
Nice.
Okay.
Yeah, speaking of which, with other movie news, we have 2 reschedules. The Marvels and Quantumania have been rescheduled. They were originally going to be released on July 28th, 2023. Now they're February 17th, 2023. So they're coming early.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I can say, I guess I can say, the Marvels are actively doing reshoots right now. I'm trying to think what's allowed. What can I say without getting in trouble?
Feige, please don't shut us down.
I know. People just tell me things I shouldn't know.
Something you should know, Josh, is that OJ has close connections with Feige. Feige's feeding him all this information.
Tons. He's just in the loop, man.
Somehow, some way.
I'm just hoping that Miss Marvel is good. I've been loving Kamala Khan Miss Marvel comics, and I am like, please be good, please.
The trailers have all been solid, I will say. What we've seen has been the only thing that has me most concerned about Miss Marvel is just the power change and how that's going to look. Because it is significantly different from what the comics are.
Yeah, but they took away her embiggening.
Yeah, but now it's kind of like she's kind of like Green Lantern in a way. Is how I best describe the new set of powers, like where her bracelets are her rings.
But they can legally make Simpsons references, right? I mean, come on.
Yeah. So yeah, maybe
who owns the Simpsons right now?
Disney.
Exactly. So it's like y'all don't have an excuse. Let Kamala say embiggen.
I think it's just Feige's proving a point how bad he should have proving a point of you should have let me keep Inhumans, and he's still I think driving that home. See, you let Inhumans go, and I should have just had it I wanted it, and now I'm going to shit on Inhumans.
So it's made out of spite.
I can't confirm or deny.
The main thing about Miss Marvel that I'm hoping is presented well is the cross-cultural themes. That's why I love about the comics so much, that she's this really relatable and grounded character. That's a colossal nerd in a fun way, and the whole immigrant story, the whole balancing immigrant story, balancing oh, you were born and raised in Jersey, your parents and grandparents immigrated here, and how you love your parents, you love your traditions, but you also want to be in the modern world too. Those themes were presented incredibly well in G. Willow Wilson's run of the comic, and I hope it's done well in the show. I think it would mean a lot to a lot of people, and it would give Marvel these really meaty themes to explore, which is why I like Moon Knight so much, because that also gives it meaty themes to explore.
Good segue.
Yeah.
Good, very good segue into Moon Knight.
Thank you.
Well done. Welcome to the club. Speaking of Moon Knight, what did you guys think of episode 5? I've seen a lot of mixed reactions about it.
Really? I actually thought it was one of the best episodes of this series. So
I agree.
It was the best one since episode 1.
I agree. The only competition would have been episode 1. But I think thematically, episode 1 is great from, I think, a directing perspective, writing perspective, and acting perspective. But I think as we're getting deeper into the story now, thematically, this was really perfect. And I think it also had a great story to tell.
Yeah.
I concur. If I know Wanda and WandaVision was the only show to get acting any recognition that way from the awards circuit, I think Oscar Isaac after this performance has a real shot of actually winning.
Just give him all the awards.
Yeah, give him all the awards
for everything he does.
Yeah, I've heard many people say he's his own special effect. Just because it's for a show about Moon Knight, we don't get a lot of Moon Knight.
That's true.
Unless it is all in his head, in which case we do get a lot of Moon Knight.
Yeah, I guess.
That is one of the theories of episode 5. How much of it is real, how much of it's in his head, how much of the show we've seen so far. Because one of the things that's been so cool about Moon Knight is how disconnected it really has been from the MCU. So This episode really lends credence to the question of how much of what we've been seeing is real.
Well, I guess the bigger question is does all that exist in the real world in Mark's specters? Does the MCU actually exist, or is he just out of his mind?
Yeah.
Which is it was only, but at least we got some kind of references to the astral plane. We got a reference to that in this episode, which is great. But other than that, there's a lot of story to wrap up in one episode. I don't know if they're planning on a season 2 or not, But
I think they just do it. This is just a 1-season deal.
I don't know how you wrap up the amount of stories they have open ended in one episode. I really don't know.
Yeah, because they haven't revealed the third personality yet either.
There's a third personality.
Yeah,
there's like all the stuff going on with the dad and Conchu. There's a lot of story left still.
And honestly, like because one of the critiques of episode 5 that I do kind of have some pretty big thoughts on in regards to Mark Spector's Jewish identity, which is touched on in the episode.
Okay,
I think they could have done more to explore it because, I mean, there's one of the things that's been talked about, at least in some of the circles and forums, is the scene where he like takes off his kippah and smashes it on the ground in his rage. And my personal thoughts on it, especially as a Jewish fan and film buff and everything, is like, I mean, I think that the imagery itself is very loaded depending on which circles you look at. And I think I would have been okay with it if his trauma in the episode was related to his identity, because that's what that sort of scene would reflect. And they didn't really do that. And they don't really do enough to show how his Jewish identity impacts him at all, which for some people can be fine. Like a character can just be Jewish and exist and that's it. But when you're going to have that type of imagery, and also the fact that it sounds like they're saying he came from a semi-observant background. That's why they had a Shiva in the episode.
Yeah.
It felt like they were just saying like, oh, look, we're diverse. We got a Jewish superhero now. And it's like, great, but you didn't do anything with it.
Yeah.
Great point.
And
which I hope they do more with that in Miss Marvel and her Muslim background. We'll see if that
because her identity.
It looks like we'll get more of a glimpse of that though in Miss Marvel. Feels like that's more of a focus of the show.
Yeah, and that's why I do hope, like, if it looks like Moon Knight's going to be just a one season thing, I hope they at least bring back the character so they can explore that element of his identity more. Because as it is, it feels very hand wavy. I mean, growing up as a comic book fan, Moon Knight was one of my favorite superheroes because he was a Jewish character that's so different from many of the other Jewish characters you'd see on TV. Like, he's not Nebuchadnezzar. He has conflicts between his relationship with his god Khonshu, which is a very Jewish theme. And we don't really see much of that. We see some of that in the show, but it's not as heavily explored as I think it could have been. And if we see more of the character, which, with all these other new superheroes that are being added, whether it's Kate Bishop or Miss Marvel or Ironheart, or, US Agent, whoever you want to play that. I hope that we get to see some of those themes explored more with him, because I think that Oscar Isaac, I think, would at least do it justice.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see why they wouldn't bring him back.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I definitely don't think he's going to disappear. Marvel, they love a deep cut. Like, they're bringing back the, random scientists from Iron Man 1. I think this is for sure not the last we'll see of, Moon Knight, whether it be like in a Midnight Suns movie or if he pops up in Blade, which I'm hearing.
Down for that.
Along with Black Knight. So we'll see. Like, of course, there's a rumored Midnight Suns movie with Blade, Black Knight, Moon Knight, and Ghost Rider. Who knows? But I think in addition to all the themes being explored, there's just like stories that they started are just far too open-ended to complete all in a 45-minute episode, I think, next week.
Yeah. And Marvel seems to be good at like playing the long game, like whatever.
Sure.
And so, I mean, if they don't tie up every loose end on the 6th episode, they'll tied up later down the line. They're pretty okay with that. I just hope that when they bring Moon Knight back, it's as either more of a focal point or supporting character, not as much like seeing Daredevil in Spider-Man, where it's just a one-off cameo.
Yeah,
well, it's not a one-off.
Daredevil, Disney's doing much better with these shows than Netflix is with their own.
That's true. That's very true.
And that's not a one-off cameo. That's I'll shut that down now.
Okay.
Oh, really?
Okay.
Daredevil will very much be back, and sooner than you think.
All right. All right, I'm here for it. I'm here for it.
It's a big universe. These characters are all coming back. I'm convinced Moon Knight will be back, and definitely in some real way, I'm sure.
I'll tell you who to worry about and who's not coming back.
Ooh, let's hear this. Yeah. Who's not
No. Like, I mean, like, when I'll let you know when someone's like not like, you know.
I thought there was a big snub recently.
Oh no, I'm not about to like
get not us, to say.
Yeah, I'm not gonna get us shut down, but like TBD on Luke Cage, TBD on Iron Fist,
for better or for worse.
TBD on Punisher, sadly, and only people who might get resurrected, who's not yet to not get resurrected, is Jessica Jones.
They should get Kristen Ritter back. She's great as Jessica Jones.
She's the only other one that like is like who is like in play, possibly.
I can't have the last bits of Luke Cage in the MCU be as like the head of a sketchy nightclub. I need that plot point resolved. That was like Marvel shows. That was the most aggravating for me because so much great setup for a season 3. But you ended it on him essentially being a crime boss. I'm like, come on.
It's not great even from a viewpoint, you know.
Yeah. Also, refresh my memory. What happened to Claire? I know that she and Luke Cage broke up in season 2.
Oh, right. Night Nurse.
Yeah, Night Nurse.
Yeah, Night Nurse. Rosario Dawson's character.
Yeah.
I mean, well, obviously Rosario Dawson's Team Disney, so I believe she got shipped off to like another state or something.
Yeah, because she was like the magnet that was tying all these shows together.
I know, very oddly.
Back to her home
it's like she was the caveman in all those Pauly Shore movies in the 90s.
How are you doing this every episode, man? Are you bringing this back up every episode?
I don't know. Habit.
Yeah, so he's going to find some way to work that back into every episode.
And let's not forget, since he hasn't done it yet, Adam Sandler, MCU. I would like to see that. Should have directed Fantastic Four.
Well, you know what, guys? I'm gonna go.
I officially crossed the line.
Yeah.
Our first walk off. You know what?
Not Nocturnal Movie Club without Adam Sandler or 90s Pauly Shore.
I think Adam Sandler might make a great MODOK. You know, if we're not getting Jim Carrey, which we're not. No. I wouldn't mind Adam as MODOK.
I wouldn't mind Adam Sandler as anything in the MCU for sure. I'm not sure what I would accept him as.
Marvel Studios presents a Happy Madison production.
Eternity.
Who?
Eternity, like the embodiment of the Marvel Universe in the comics.
Oh, okay. Deep cut, Josh. All right. Eternity.
They're gonna
hang
out with him and make Eternity a comic character.
Okay. You know what? We're getting so many random cameos. We're getting Russell Crowe as Zeus. Who knows? We might get an Eternity cameo, perhaps in Guardians. I can see that working in there. Maybe in Thor 5.
So actually, Adam Sandler, the DC movie, I have him as Kite Man.
Yeah, well, in Thor: Love and Thunder, we're getting Melissa McCarthy.
That's what.
I'm guessing, like from what I saw in the cast list, I guess they're kind of doing the Matt Damon and Ragnarok skit again.
Oh yeah, they are. I saw that.
Yeah, I believe she's playing Hela.
That's funny, actually. I'll take that. It's not like a main character role.
The only problem I have with is that like her real life husband is starring alongside her, and they do not produce good work together.
No, I did not know until you mentioned it. They're a nightmare couple for sure. Probably happily married, I'm sure. But movies,
like in person they're probably wonderful, but like the movies they made together are awful.
Yeah, they haven't been anything good since Bridesmaids.
I do think there's a romantic idea of making terrible movies just so only you two can enjoy them together.
Oh, that is the most romantic thing you could possibly do, right?
It's only for them and nobody else, but everyone else has to watch it. Like that, I see the romance in that.
It's like, yeah, it may have been fun for you, but that's like 2 hours we're never going to get back.
Look, it may have been fun for you. Great, that's all that mattered. It was fun for us.
For a lot of filmmakers, making movies they just like making the movies. They don't even care about the movie at the end of it, right?
Yeah.
Tom Cruise is spending $200 million on expensive vacations, essentially. That's on camera.
Yeah.
That's a much deeper conversation than we have time for.
We will, maybe we can resort a podcast episode to just that.
We'll bring
Nope.
that up later because
Nope.
the new one
That's-
just got a title and a release date. But I mean,
I have some strong Scientology contracts that I have signed. I am so serious.
oh, I'm so sorry, OJ. Yeah, no. Well, also I love Tom Cruise, so that should be good for your contract.
It's crazy.
Speaking of which,
we
we keep getting the
the
trailer.
Scientology contract. This crazy. Don't join Scientology.
Yeah, no,
All of our sponsors called. They said they did not like that we referenced Scientology. They want us to never mention their products ever again.
oh,
Listen,
no.
I would not be surprised. They still follow me.
They still follow you.
Every time like anyone tries to get me to join a religion, I just say I'm spiritually spoken for.
Spiritually spoken for.
I like that one.
I'm spiritually unavailable right now. Got out of a long spiritual relationship.
It's good. It's good. Whose relationship who needs work is DC.
Oh yes, you teased this last time, and I still have no idea what this is about. So
Yeah, I need to hear this.
Well, shit. Like, where do we start? Listen. All right. On a positive note, let's start positive. On a positive note, we're getting Shazam. We're getting Black Adam. It's official. Robert Pattinson is back as Batman.
yes,
For part 2. The highly rumored villain is Mr. Freeze, which is
what?
I'm into it. I'm into it.
Mr. Freeze.
I mean, like that's a pretty big move, though. Like,
It is.
like a really great, successful Batman movie, and then your next choice is to make Mr. Freeze the next villain.
Well,
I mean, but think of the options. Like, we're not doing Joker again.
Oh,
Yeah,
but
I mean,
like,
we're gonna do Joker eventually.
let me take you back to the 90s. One of the villains in Batman Forever was the Riddler, and then you follow out the next movie with Mr. Freeze, and look what happens.
Heart of Ice, which was one of the best animated pieces of television ever made.
That is true.
very true.
Translating it to live action, I feel like it'll
It's a
work.
different story.
Yeah, it can definitely work.
They're going to do a trilogy, right? They're 100% doing.
I mean, that's the plan. It's a trilogy right now, but obviously depends on box office ratings and all that stuff. But I think Mr. Freeze is a good choice, honestly.
I'm sure it'll be fine. I just can't help but see history repeating itself, just like
no.
outside.
I think if history repeats itself, like the second one is always the best in the Batman series. If we look back, Batman Returns. Okay.
Not the
All right.
best.
Well, we can debate on that later. But The Dark Knight also came in hot. So I think, the second one I think is a good place to be.
Just going based on
Tradition, I mean, obviously people don't traditionally do well with the sequels. It's just like a known thing in Hollywood. As a sequel is always never better than the original, but I trust Matt Reeves.
Yeah, I mean, he did pretty good with the Planet of the Apes movies.
Yeah, that sequel was insane.
Yeah, War for the Planet of the Apes had no reason to be as good as it is.
Yes, I agree. All of those were really well shot. Batman was pretty good too. I want to see him do better though. He could do better. I think he could top it.
It looks like they're kind of doing an adaptation. I mean, I'm just going based on the ending of the Batman, where everything's It looked like. Did anyone read No Man's Land by any chance?
I don't think so.
OJ, I mean, yeah, like you know what I'm talking about because
I see where you're going. I think they're definitely if you saw the first one, it was a mixture of like Batman Year One and The Long Halloween. It had all those elements in it, and I think they're taking pieces of different places of Nowhere's Land as well, and I think they might take pieces of that beautiful animated movie you just mentioned earlier with the Mr. Freeze story. So I think they're going to just be elements of Nowhere's Land and not the whole thing.
Because I mean that whole storyline lasted a year, but I think what they'll use this for, because No Man's Land is, I mean, just so you two know, it's when basically after a giant earthquake, Gotham City is basically isolated and cut off from the rest of the world, and different villains kind of take over certain territories. I think they'll use this because I know they're doing this Penguin HBO Max series that's coming out soon. I think they're going to use this as an opportunity to not only have Mr. Freeze, but maybe get some other villains out of the woodwork, because, you know, they introduced the Joker already. And it seems like, just based on the ending, that Joker and Riddler are at the very least going to work together in some capacity. I wouldn't be surprised if between now and, you know, the second movie, we're going to see a lot more villains popping up. I wouldn't be surprised if someone like Firefly or Calendar Man.
Well, no, we're getting Firefly and Batgirl.
So if Feige's talking to you about everything at Marvel, who's talking to you about DC? That's what I'm curious about.
He's looking around. Where are the bugs?
I think Shayna's calling me. Hold on.
Shayna.
Hi, Shayna.
Hey, Shane.
Call you back. So we're getting Firefly and Batgirl, played by Brendan Fraser, as the main villain. So
Nice.
we will not be getting a Firefly in the Batman as well.
Oh, no, I'm cool with that. Sounds awesome.
Yes. Just FYI, guys, we're getting Firefly.
And Brendan Fraser as Firefly, even better.
I know.
It's going to be really good. Batgirl's almost done. And then Blue Beetle. It's a lot going on. Yes, we're also getting, in addition to things that we're also getting Batgirl, which is almost done, with Michael Keaton, with Brendan Fraser. We're getting Blue Beetle coming soon as well. There's Black Canary happening. It's in early development with Journey Smollett returning. There's a lot of positive things. It doesn't feel very cohesive, which is the problem.
It seems like DC, what they're sort of doing to differentiate themselves from Marvel is that they're not focusing as much on like connecting all these movies together, but just telling solid standalone stories that might take place in the same universe, but you could still enjoy in isolation. And I like that, honestly. I mean, I think that Marvel did a very impressive job with their shared universe, but in the end, you want a good movie. And sometimes, especially for many viewers that don't want to get intimidated or bogged down in continuity. I mean, that's the classic comic book anxiety of getting into comics. There's so much lore, there's so much history. Where do you start? If DC wants to sort of establish themselves as not being a Marvel copycat and just do their own thing by letting directors have a bit more control and just focusing on being standalone, but maybe pull in an Easter egg or cameo rather than full on continuity, honestly, more power to them. It seems to be like their best movies seem to be like that.
Yeah, but the problem is that they are telling people that the opposite, like, oh, this is set within the DCU. We're building up to this, and they keep telling and teasing that, you know, this bigger world that's all connected. But it's like it feels so disjointed. I think if they approached it from the way you said it, I think people wouldn't hold them to it. You know, we're like, oh, okay, like, you said this is connected. Okay, how? Where's the cameos? Where's the interconnectivity? You know, like, where's all that stuff? So if they were to tell people these are just standalones and, you know, don't think of them as a connective universe, then people will just leave them alone about it. The problem is that people are looking at DC and they think you guys are dummies because there's so much benefit and so much financial benefit to be gained from doing a shared universe and making a universe where, like Feige, where you can't miss a chapter or something where you want to skip out on a movie. And because they have such a even just as deep, if not deeper, catalog as Marvel, it's hard to not figure out why they're not doing the same thing.
Lack of vision is always my answer for
lack
that.
of vision and a lack of one person at the helm.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Well, do you think, because I know with the recent news about Ezra Miller getting in trouble and
Yes.
If they, I mean, just putting a hypothetical, because if they just stop doing Flash, let's say.
Flash is done. So let me put that to best. Flash is coming out. Flash is done.
Yeah.
We're getting Flash, no matter if Ezra is available, promoted or not. Flash is coming out. It's just way too money has been spent. The movie's already finished. Shooting wise, which is in post production, but Flash is coming, no matter what.
Because that seems to be the one. That seems to be the film they're adapting, Flashpoint, where that draws in all of the like mixed universes, crisis events together.
Well, initially, the original plan at the end of Flash was you were supposed to see a brand new Justice League forming, and it was going to be like Cyborg, Flash, Supergirl, Batgirl, and Shazam, and somebody else I forget. But then now with it's going to be left open ended to where you'll see Ben Affleck's Bruce Wayne, you'll see Batfleck, but now with Flash, we're not going to get another Flash movie because Ezra is just too mentally his mental health is not we're in a good place where he can do another Flash. So now that whole plan needs to be reworked, especially now with the merger of Discovery and Warner. Everything's being reworked right now to where there's going to be a new plan put in play. As you can see, some of the DC TV shows on the CW are coming to an end. Batwoman was announced to be ending. So was the Legends of Tomorrow. So there's only 3 DC shows left, I believe, with Superman and Lois, Stargirl, and Naomi and Flash. So 4 shows.
Yeah. So are we talking just on CW, or are we also talking HBO Max?
Those are just the CW. Just HBO Max. The HBO Max shows will continue. Just that the whole strategy is being reworked because initially Blue Beetle was just going to be for HBO Max, the movie, but now it's going to theaters. They're still discussing whether Black Canary will live on just HBO Max or theaters. So the whole thing is being reworked as we speak. Just especially as this whole Ezra Miller case keeps developing and all that. So
and with the channel, they're looking to sell the channel, so they're trying to like redo their entire TV.
The channel sold.
Oh, it's sold already?
Yeah, the Discovery that's a done deal.
Oh no, Discovery's. I know that deal is done. I mean, like they're trying to do split offs of the post merged company. Right. TV segment. They want to sell it off after the fact.
Right. So just like how Marvel got rid of all that stuff, now that it's like Feige's all under the helm. It turns out there'll be no random Agents of Shields or any random like Netflix show. It's all going to be under just Feige's thing. So I think DC's trying to figure out what that's going to look like for them.
Exactly.
It's a process.
It's going to be a process. It always is with a merger, right?
What was that, Josh?
Sorry. I was just saying with DC, it sounds very much like one hand not knowing what the other one's doing.
Always.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a bit of that, and bad luck. A lot of bad luck.
Bad timing too. I feel like
bad timing
happening. It's just time's not
bad choices, like hiring Josh Whedon and
well, I mean, bringing on James Gunn was a good decision on their part.
Yeah, for the most part,
that was probably the only good decision they've made, isn't it? Oh well, I like the Snyder Cut. That was a good decision.
But and also like Patty Jenkins was a good decision the first time around. But
true.
Yeah, that one really didn't work out at the end. Dear God.
What happened with Wonder Woman 1984?
Patty didn't bring back the team she had on the first movie, and that was a big mistake.
Listen to this, Lana Wachowski. This is what happens when you don't bring back the people you worked with on the Matrix trilogy for Resurrections.
You got to bring back that first team, just because the magic was not the same. So even with the the underwhelming success of 84, so it's like they're having to rework how this is going to look. So there's a possibility where we might not get Wonder Woman 3, or there's a possibility where things can shift. Aquaman, the only thing that's working right now is Aquaman and James Wan. But even that with Amber Heard now and all that drama. So
right.
It's just like it's a lot of bad luck,
I do have to say, like, I think we're one of the only podcasts right now that went for so long without talking about Amber Heard.
That's true. I forgot all about that because you're right. Every single DC franchise has been plagued with some sort of curse. Like nobody is left unscathed.
Yeah. I mean,
we thought Aquaman was going to be, I mean, Shazam right now is just unscathed, but it just sucks.
Peacemaker, I don't think Peacemaker had any problems.
No, but
movies,
Peacemaker
TV
is
shows.
like he's low hanging fruit in terms of like a major DC player. We need temples like Shazam and Flash and Wonder Woman and Batman, and those are all just, and Superman is just like, it's just.
Yeah, what's the update on the new Superman movie that J.J. Abrams is doing? I broke him.
I'm trying to say, like, it's the contracts are there, but whether or not that happens is like TBD. TBD. It doesn't look very likely that will go forward, though.
Yeah, give Marvel a little credit. They deliver what they promise on time. DC is always seems up in the air.
Exactly, which is like people complain about the formula, but like the formula is tried, true, and tested. So
we have to settle for occasional mediocrity while we wait for DC to make something incredible.
But it's very occasional, very rare. It's not doesn't happen very often. The mediocrity, but we're well fed for the most part. Say what you want about Marvel, but
it's always good. It's always fun.
90% quality content.
It's like on South Park, The Incredible Meat.
The Incredible Meat. I'm not seeing this.
This is a great episode, man. Like they do a parody of There Will Be Blood, where like Cartman hates that they're bringing in healthier options, so like to trick him like into thinking he's eating real food, like healthy food.
Yeah,
they use goo that they can shape into tacos or ribs.
Oh, gosh.
Okay.
But it's I forgot what season it was. It was one of the Integrity Farm episodes.
Oh wow!
All right. Okay.
But anyway, I'm sorry.
OJ's taking notes like, all right, DC, South Park, all right.
Yeah, I was right. I'm make sure everyone watching can get that down. They can write that down as they sit through the references. I don't know. I have my fingers crossed for DC, but no high hopes, just because it's just too many problems at once, and there's just a lot to fix right now.
I think I'm on the opposite side now, where like I feel like when we first started doing this podcast like a year or two ago, I was always like, I hate DC. Everything they do is garbage. I hate them. Now I'm like, you know what? It's been so long since I've seen anything from DC, like because they don't really do movies anymore, do they? I'm like, yeah, I'm really excited. It's been so long. I could really go for that. It's like when you go to a restaurant and you get a bad experience. You're like, the food there was fine that one time, right? We should go back there. That's how I feel about this,
Whereas with Marvel, it's like you're getting the same nice experience you get every single time, but there's nothing too special about it, unless it's like you come on like a special day, like No Way Home.
Yeah, Marvel is the Chipotle of movies, or the Starbucks, whatever your favorite fast food chain.
I just gave him Red Lobster.
You're in Red Lobster. It's another good one. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, like DC's like going to Peter Luger by comparison. Like the service is terrible, but the food's good.
You know what?
That's another good one.
That's a pretty good one.
And at the end, you're wondering if it was worth it.
Yeah. Oh wait. Well, yeah. That's it for DC. Everyone just say a prayer for DC, in hopes that they get it together. But back to Moon Knight really quick. We forgot to rate it. Jake.
Right.
Did we rate the other episodes?
Ooh, we did in the beginning. We did the last two, I think, right?
Yeah, we didn't rate the last two because we did. They were like we grouped them together. But episode 5, 1 to 10.
I would give it like a solid 7.5 or 8. Like
I give like an 8. I give it an 8. I'll give it the 8. I think it was a good.
You think you go with the 8?
I'll go with the 8. I think it was fine. I thought
okay. Josh?
I'd give it like 8.5.
Oh, positive too? Oh, someone be negative really quickly.
We have yet to hear from OJ.
I'm gonna go with a 7, just because.
Yes, okay, at least a little hit. All right, it's good.
If we lose Steven, I'm gonna be really pissed.
Me too.
We're not gonna lose him, but it was nice seeing that there was like, oh, there could be some consequences in this show. I did like that.
Yeah, me lose one of my personalities. Big consequence. But no, shout out to Oscar Isaac for making us like think like, two different personalities. And I think he's the more likable of the two.
Agreed. Also, still to me, the best MCU performance in recent memory. And complaints. I forgot complaints. I was saying this before we did the show. When they're on the ship, there are moments where it looks like the cheap Loki set or the cheap Loki special effects.
I agree.
I hate that. Minor gripe. It's a minor gripe. I don't really have a huge issue with it. And then when they have both of Oscar Isaac's personalities in the same shot, they're obviously, it looks, I don't know. I feel like the Parent Trap was shot better. I feel like sometimes they're just like, oh, dude, come on, man. I've seen literally like amateur directors who are doing student films do a little bit better job of editing this together. It's fine, yeah, but there's times where I'm just looking, I'm like, oh, okay.
Gee, brutal.
Brutal.
You gave it an 8.
You thought it was filmed really well, Jake?
What's that?
You thought it was filmed really well?
The Parent Trap, yeah.
Oh, the Parent Trap for sure, yeah. It's just minor gripes of this episode. Because if I don't bash Marvel on their special effects on their TV shows, then we didn't do the podcast right, in my opinion. So.
Yeah, and you know what? Like that's exactly what I mean when I say it's mediocre. Because like the special effects like look the same. They don't have a visceral impact.
Well, yeah, clearly there was a tightening on the special effects budget because we would have gotten more Moon Knight this whole series if that wasn't. Yeah, if that wasn't the case.
I still can't get over like an episode when they're fighting the monster and it goes from invisible to visible at different times. You only have to do that effect once where it's invisible. You could see the monster for the rest of the fight. And they just have Oscar Isaac acting as
well. It seems to be the running trend. I don't know if you guys saw any previews of Doctor Strange, but they're doing a very similar thing in the Doctor Strange fight with I forget the alien's name, the eye, the monster. Not an alien, but demon, whatever.
Sauron.
Sauron. So in the fight it was Sauron.
Sauron. I cannot wait for the Lord of the Rings TV series.
I know.
Nothing a better way to save money on a film than have your monster be invisible.
Right, every other second.
Yeah, because in the first episode, like that was really cool. Like, because not seeing the fight, like just having him wake up right afterwards, like that was like a very unique way to show action in Marvel.
Well, that was great. That was great.
It was like there was some like legit horror elements to it that were great. That was like, oh, I'm scared.
Unfortunately, like that identity went away like over the course of the episodes. It doesn't feel like a horror show anymore
because the writer changed. There was a writer's change. So the first the writers changed from every episode. So I think we get that writer back for the last episode, which is great.
Nice.
I just really hope this last episode's really good because, like,
I think it will be.
Episode 5 is winning back goodwill. I just hate for them to fall flat on the 6th episode.
I think it's going to go. Yeah. Well, actually, all the Marvel shows typically do this, right? They start pretty high, they take a dip, they come back, and then they kind of just like middle out towards the end. I feel like they always middle out towards the end.
Yeah, especially WandaVision.
WandaVision, even Falcon and Winter Soldier, the finale was fine. It was good. But was it like really, really good? I think like the previous episode was better.
Although I will say, like, of all the shows, like either that or Hawkeye had the best finale.
True. Yeah. No. Yeah. I still like Falcon and Winter Soldier. It's one of my favorites of the Marvel shows.
Will that change over time, or is it just because like that was like just the second one of these we got? Like the more that we have, do you think they'll stay consistently the way we saw them before?
Good question. Maybe
we'll see. I mean, next up we get Miss Marvel. I don't think that will be. I think they all hit differently. Like, you know, I think because they're also thematically different. I think that will stay the same. I think it won't change just for the most part. Yeah, I don't think that will change. I think that the way the ratings won't change based on that. Like I don't like, and we'll see how Armored Wars come out and Ironheart and all that. But and She-Hulk. I'm trying to think. There's so many good ones. I'm really excited for. But I think the least excited for Echo. Like I don't know if we need an Echo show or an Agatha Harkness show.
It's an Agatha Harkness show now.
Yeah.
I'd missed that. Yeah, I also don't know if we need that.
But I mean, like, she did have a really nice debut in WandaVision, so maybe we're doing something good. I just hope that it's not just an afterthought, like that they actually do have a plan for this.
Yeah, are they doing a WandaVision season 2? They are, aren't they?
I don't think so. I think that was a one-off thing.
They might just make it a spiritual successor in some ways, I suppose.
No, everyone's going back to the movies.
It's true.
White Vision just pops up.
White Vision.
There might be a White Vision cameo in the movie coming out very soon.
Oh, Doctor Strange then.
Not confirming
very
or
subtle
purposes.
Just for my sake, did anybody review it on the screening last Thursday?
That wasn't screening. That was like a 20-minute footage viewing.
Oh, that's all it was? I thought it was a full screening. Oh wow.
Who do we have anyone slated to review it yet?
I don't know if there are. I haven't heard from Disney yet if people will be reviewing this.
Feige, help us out. Let us know.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know people reviewing this one because it's so spoilerly. Yeah.
Interesting. That's new.
Yeah, it was just a 20-minute viewing, a 20-minute footage viewing. But every single thing in this movie is such a spoiler.
No.
So many cameos. Oh my god. The Illuminati scene is gonna just be insane.
Yeah, I've been hearing about that.
It's going to be insane. Wanda's gonna be so OP. It's like, like she's going to take down.
Okay, I wish that the Illuminati wasn't in the trailer. Like, I wish the Illuminati wasn't in the trailer. Like that, and also a few other moments from even a thumbnail I saw on YouTube this morning.
Oh yeah, with Captain Carter.
I saw your post about that. I was like, don't look at it. Don't look at it.
Yeah, like honestly, and it's something that Marvel does quite a bit that bugs me. Moments like that would have hit me so much harder. And I'm sure I'll still enjoy it. I'm sure I'll still like the movie. But that would have been such a great surprise if I went in blind.
Yeah, but we knew that months ago.
But like the thing is, we shouldn't have known months ago. I think that it would have been a lot cooler if all we knew was, oh, Doctor Strange, there's multiverse stuff going on.
But only people like us know. I think, you're a person who is a casual fan, or they will still be, thoroughly surprised by all the cameos.
100%.
But
I mean, like, even I'm going to be surprised. I don't keep up with all the news for sure. And I purposefully avoid trailers. But unless we're doing a trailer review, I'm not watching it because I want to avoid that. I want to get the authentic experience.
Yeah, that's the way most of these should be. But I think even a casual fan, when you hear Patrick Stewart's voice,
oh, of course,
like that's something that I don't think should have been in the trailer because I
agree because I even saw that and I avoid news. So I mean, like, come on, that doesn't.
But I think they they needed something. There wasn't. I think although Wanda and Strange are both compelling, we need those little things to help sell the movie. Just because, like.
Well, it's the Marvel Cinematic Universe. People are going to have to watch it. It's their homework for the future.
True. And I think this movie's going to be so significant, but we need those little things like that, those moments to get people talking, to generate the buzz.
But that's the thing. Like, sometimes you just don't need to do anything. Like, rumors will just fly around. It's free publicity.
True. Very true.
It's... Yeah, I was going to say, like, they probably saved all their marketing strategies for No Way Home, but, like, even there in the trailer, you saw that shot where Lizard and Sandman were jumping at Spider-Man, and it's like you saw clearly two people were erased from there.
Yeah.
But even, like, I would have, even with No Way Home, I was one of those people where I would have been a lot happier if I didn't know that Green Goblin and Doc Ock were going to be in the movie. I would have, like, I just imagine how I would have felt if I went into the theater because it's Spider-Man. You don't need any tricks for that. People are going to see a Spider-Man movie. And imagine like going to the theater and you just suddenly see the pumpkin, the Green Goblin pumpkin, how your brain would just flip out at seeing that after so many years.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think you guys trust the moviegoer more than they should be.
They should go back to the days of like The Lion King, where all they had to show was the opening scene. That was the trailer.
Yeah.
Honestly, that's what I would really, really like that.
People, I mean, I think people don't go to stuff anymore just based off speculation. They've been disappointed so many times. I think people now need to know, like, oh, I'm going to see my favorite character that I grew up with and blah, blah, blah. Like, they need certain confirmations or they won't go. So I think, you know, it would be perfect world that studios wouldn't have to give that information. But I think, you know, they've been left with like no choice.
Question. You know how like for even for the Batman, they released like I think like it was the opening scene on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that if they had just shown that and that was it, that would have enticed people to go see it? Like none of the other, like not knowing Catwoman, not knowing Penguin, not knowing Riddler, that opening would be all you would get. Do you think that would get people to see it?
No, I know OJ disagrees. I'm like fervently yes, because I did not watch a single trailer. I did not watch anything. I just knew a Batman movie was coming out with Robert Pattinson. And then I saw that YouTube ad where it's like a 2 or 3 minute ad, but it's not the opening scene. It's it's the church scene where the car comes piling through. I saw that and I'm like, oh shit, this movie looks great. I want to see this now. And that was genuinely my like, oh, now I'm excited.
Your casual moviegoer would not do that. Your casual moviegoer needs to know I'm getting Catwoman. I'm getting the Penguin. Like some people went for that movie just to see Catwoman.
Maybe
I can tell you for a fact.
I don't know. I feel like maybe. I feel like the
data speaks otherwise.
Oh, does it actually?
Yes. No, just people who generally went to that movie just to see Catwoman.
Really? Okay.
And just not only to see Catwoman, but to see like Zoe Kravitz.
Catwoman is amazing. Like
yeah. So you need and she also represented representation. So you like there's like so you need those things to like sell the movie. So that opening scene would have not sold that movie.
That's fair. Yeah, I agree. Star power still has some effect on movies.
It's
years, but like it's not going away anytime soon.
Yeah, I mean, it worked for The Lion King because, like, you know, it's voice animation, like, so eventually you'll see the voices in the movie, but the animation is what people were going for.
Yeah, different era too. Different era. I think the bar keeps getting.
Well, yeah, it's a different era. Like people didn't have the internet and all the saturation of content, and you know, there wasn't amazing TV at the time. Where now TV is like so next level now. It totally different time. If you wanted quality content back then, you had to go to the movies versus like now there's quality content on the tip of your fingers.
Yeah, but still, they do need to revamp trailers at this point to make them more interesting.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Like the paradigm needs to change at some point.
I agree. That I agree. I think Marvel does pretty good wins at trailers for the most part. They have those down packed, but I think there's a lot of other people who can use some work.
Yeah. Especially when some of them, like, you find out the news that they spoiled the ending for their movies by showing them in the trailers.
Yeah, like even I think DC they tend to give away too much in the trailer. Like I think with like DC, they didn't need to give away Doomsday in that trailer. I think Wonder Woman and Batman and Superman were enough to sell that. Like they didn't need to give away Doomsday. For example, like I think that was enough. I don't think you needed him to like further like put the tickets in. I think those three, the big three, were enough.
Exactly.
So I do think there's a time where people do give too much away, but a lot of times not as much as you think.
Yeah,
I liked the Thor: Love and Thunder trailer. I thought that was I thought that was really
that
well
was.
done. Like it
And
communicates.
I'm not even sure that was officially a full trailer. I think they might have been calling that a teaser.
yeah, I would be happy if this was just the trailer and
Yeah.
we got nothing else.
Yeah, I think this is an adequate amount of information. Anything more is going to start tipping that scale again, like we're talking about.
You know what Thor's journey is going to be. Guardians are going to be in it. You're going to get Jane Foster Thor. Okay, cool. You gave me everything I needed to show I want to go see this movie. Anything more than that, I think will be unnecessary and spoilery.
Fully agree.
Yeah,
I totally agree. But we both know that's not the case. We all know this. We're definitely getting at least 2 more trailers, and a lot more story. I think there are some things to be shown though. I think they can better sell Jane Foster as Thor. They will, I think, see the response and see how underwhelming it was towards her character, and I think the next trailer will better highlight her in a better light, and give some more light to that. I think we will get a Christian Bale reveal prior to the movie,
100%.
to show who the villain is. So there are things that they will show still to come, and some I think justifiably.
yeah. I mean, like business wise, I can see like why you would need to do that, but at the same time, I feel like we have enough to get us to want to go see this movie.
True. But it's not just about seeing it, it's all about the merchandise and selling toys and all that other stuff. And
Toys out.
the toys are out, but now we need to sell them. So there's that. Business, guys. The business of Hollywood.
It's fun. It's interesting, right?
It is
a wild one.
It's very wild. Guys, thank you for joining us. We'll be back next week, reviewing all things Moon Knight season finale. So get ready, and we'll see you then. Peace.
Take care.